going on, y'all? Welcome back to Getting Technical. This is episode 9. I'm joined by Raleigh and Sam. This is Wednesday night, right before the Thursday night game. Tomorrow night should be a very good game, Miami and the Bengals. Kind of just give like a quick recap of Week 3. A lot of upsets, a lot of teams losing. Chargers lost, Chiefs lost, Dolphins upset the Bills. I guess you could call it an upset, but I mean the Dolphins look like almost a better team at that point in time. Another thing I could grab from that, it looks like Lamar is on his way to another MVP season.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and now we got Bills-Ravens coming up this week, so that should be a sick matchup.
Yeah. Trouble in Denver, and then trouble in
Oakland.
Vegas.
Vegas, yeah. Right.
But yeah, that kind of sums it up quick.
Yeah, that whole AFC West is in shambles.
Yeah, AFC
and that was the one that we were saying before the season started.
Best in 20
They're going to be the best one.
Chargers,
we were
shambles,
wrong on
injuries.
that.
Insane. Really, everybody was wrong. There's nobody in America that thought that this division was going to be that bad.
No, everyone thought it was going to be loaded. Talent-wise, it is loaded, but they just can't put the pieces together.
Yeah.
And bad coaching.
Yeah, it has been.
Hackett looks bad.
Mm-hmm.
They all look, like, for the most part.
McDaniels.
Yeah, it's been just poor. I mean, obviously, other than the Chiefs.
Chargers coach, what's his Staley?
Yeah, Brandon
He doesn't look
Staley.
very good.
He goes for him fourth down on his own side of the field all the time.
He
He played Herbert that long down that much.
That
with
was
the
weird.
Injury.
That was weird.
Why?
And Slater goes out with the bicep, torn
rupture
bicep.
rupture bicep.
Yeah, and now you just lose your best offensive lineman. And you're putting Herbert in a much worse situation than he was already in.
He'll probably be fired. He'll probably get fired. I wouldn't doubt if they got rid of him in a year or two because I don't think he's that great of a coach.
For sure.
We could jump into our week 4 predictions.
Yeah.
I'm a few games back on you guys. I need to have a big week. I feel like that's why I go opposite of you guys sometimes.
I noticed that too.
Because I'm just fuck, because if we're all right, then nothing changes.
Right.
But then if we're all wrong,
Yeah,
Nothing
but it's
also
a long
changes.
season. We've always been through three.
No, I know,
it's going to change back and forth. But real quick before we get into that, Judge just hit his 61st.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I just
Are
saw
they
that.
home?
No, they're still in Toronto.
Oh wow.
So that's rough. And you saw what Vladdy did the other night after he walked it off. He was like, "This is my house," and now he just breaks the record in there.
Wow, man.
That's
Who would he hit
crazy.
it off of?
I don't know who was pitching.
All right. So week 4 picks?
Yeah, week 4
Yeah.
picks. Dolphins, Bengals.
I'm gonna take the Finns.
Dolphins.
Vikings, Saints in London.
That's tough. I never like London games, but I'll take the Vikings.
Vikings.
Seahawks, Lions.
Lions.
Baby.
Jets, Steelers.
Jets.
Steelers. Giants, Bears.
Giants.
Giants.
Titans, Colts.
Colts.
Give me the Titans. Chargers, Texans.
Chargers.
Browns, Falcons.
Browns.
Commanders, Cowboys.
Cowboys.
Jaguars, Eagles.
Eagles.
Bills, Ravens.
I'll take the Ravens.
Bills.
Cardinals, Panthers.
Cards.
Cardinals.
Broncos, Raiders.
Broncos.
Raiders.
Patriots, Packers.
Packers.
Chiefs, Bucks.
Chiefs.
Bucks. Monday Night Football, always a good game. 49ers, Rams.
49ers.
I'm going to go with the Rams. Hopefully I could make up some ground this week. A lot of good games, though. I'm really looking forward. This might be because we're kind of seeing what teams are at this point. So now it's a lot of the games are more anticipated, and I mean this is a big week for the Raiders. I mean, they start 0-4. McDaniels might be out before the season ends.
Yeah, that's insane. And one thing I wanted to mention, we were talking before. I I still can't believe that the Ravens aren't on primetime football. Ravens Bills. That's insane that's a 1:00 game. Like even if they put it at 4:25 for America's Game of the Week on Fox would have been better.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't understand that. I guess just because, you got Mahomes and Brady, and then
But still, the 4:25 game is what I'm talking about. Now that there's no Mac Jones, they should flex it and take out that.
yeah, they,
it's,
no, they
it's
should.
Patriots Packers at
yeah.
at 4:25 on
Even if
Fox.
fucking Mac Jones was there, why
That's
is
still
that
a terrible
game
game.
there?
Yeah, I think they just kind of got to spread it out, obviously, and it's also for TV purposes. Like every station has to have a certain amount of primetime games.
Yeah. We want to do another top 10 list moving forward. So we've done, obviously all the skill positions. Last week we did our kick returners, pass rushers. So this week we're doing safeties. So I'll jump right into it. So my top 10 safeties of all time. Number 10, I have Sean Taylor, rest in peace. Number 9, Cam Chancellor. Number 8, Rodney Harrison. Number 7, John Lynch. Number 6, Darren Woodson. Number 5, Darren Sharper. Number 4, Brian Dawkins. Number 3, Ronnie Lott. Number 2, Ed Reed. And number 1, Troy Polamalu.
For me, I had Sean Taylor as an honorable mention. I just think he didn't play long enough. I also got Jack Tatum. Want to give some respect to the later years in the 70s. Number 10, I got Harrison Smith. 9ers, Earl Thomas. 8, Leroy Butler. 7, Rodney Harrison. 6, Steve Atwater. 5, Roy Williams. 4, Ronnie Lott. 3, Troy Polamalu. 2, B-Dog. And Ed Reed at the number 1 spot.
Respect it. Riley said fuck the safeties. He's not with it.
It's just
Not a
so
real position.
difficult to like these. There's
I
so
know,
many
it's so
guys
hard.
that I didn't watch. And
Yeah,
I just
I mean,
don't
bro.
follow football enough.
Yeah.
So like you guys are more into it than me.
Right.
But
And then, obviously, I mean, the main, we wanted to focus more on basketball this episode, so we're just kind of ripping and running through the, football segment, and obviously we'll do our fantasy, which is, our stardom sit-em for the week. So we'll do, I did running backs and wide receivers. So my stardom running back is Khalil Herbert. Montgomery out. I think with Justin Fields' either lack of ability to throw the ball or them not trusting him, they rely heavily on their run game. Giants' run defense is not great. And my sit-em running back is Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I think the Bucs defense is going to be too much for him to have a productive fantasy week. And then my stardom wide receiver is Garrett Wilson. I think him and Zach Wilson are going to have a nice connection. First week back, Pittsburgh secondary is pretty weak. And then my sit-em wide receiver is also a Kansas City Chief, is Juju. I don't think he's going to be a great flex play this week. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of, more productive options, especially, you could pick up this week guys like, even like Rondell Moore, Greg Dortch, like Mac Hollins. There's a lot of guys that I feel like can be a lot more productive, especially this week with the matchup that Juju has.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Stardoms, I just stardom and sit 'em. I went all running back. I picked 3 for each. I got Austin Eckler as a starter. I think that he's just going to have so many opportunities to touch the ball with Justin Herbert being hurt. I think he's just going to have pure volume. Fournette, I also have as a start. I feel like he could get a couple cheap touchdowns because that's really all you need as a running back nowadays. Just kind of get in the end zone a couple times and you should be fine. Another one is Breece Hall. I think it's just he's due for a breakout. One long run, I feel like, can get you 10 points, and that's solid for a running back. Sit-ems, I got James Robinson. I feel like he's been on a high for a while, and I think it's time for him to come down to earth and they start going back to that 1-2 punch with him and ETN. Then I got Kareem Hunt as a sit. I feel like Atlanta's defense is a little underrated, especially that defensive line or full front 7 unit that they got. I think they're going to rely on Nick Chubb a lot in that game. And then I got all the Patriots running backs. I think that with Mac Jones not being there, they're really not going to be able to do much, especially against the Packers front 7, where they got all those guys, Kenny Clark and Zadarius Smith and all them.
Word. So my stardom sit-em quarterback is start Jared Goff. I think he just has a good week against the Seahawks. That offense is looking really good, so I think he's going to have a big week. My sit is Kirk Cousins in London against the Saints. Good defense, a London game. It's just a recipe for disaster. My stardom running back is Jamal Williams. Now that DeAndre Swift is out, he's going to have that backfield. He's already producing as a top 10 running back with DeAndre Swift, so I think he has a big week. My sit-em running back is Devin Singletary. He's just not getting the volume. He's more involved in the passing game, but Ravens defense, his volume's just not there for me. And then my stardom wide receiver is Chris Olave. I think he has a good week. Even in that crappy game, his volume is crazy. And Jameis is going to look to throw the ball, I think. And then my sit-em is the same game. It's Thielen. His volume's not there. London game is always a mess for the most part, so I think that I just think he has another bad week.
Yeah. Definitely looking forward to this week, though, in the NFL. Should be
A lot of good games.
Yeah, a lot of good games. Should be an exciting week, especially, just for, like I said, like we're kind of figuring teams out. And then, obviously for fantasy, I mean, this is kind of like a lot of, like, make or break weeks for some teams. Some people starting 1-3 or, 4-0. So it's definitely going to be a big week in the NFL. I'm excited for it, especially for that game tomorrow night. But with the NBA season approaching, we want to, transition and start talking some more basketball. And just kind of start with, like, our team predictions, which is our standings for, the East and the West.
Yeah.
So you want to start us off, Ross?
Yeah, I'm actually just going to go, like you guys did, we talked about doing before, 1 through 10.
Yeah.
So at 10, I have the Knicks. At 9, I have the Hawks. 8, the Bulls. 7, I have Toronto. Miami at 6, Philadelphia at 5, the Nets at 4, Cleveland at 3, Boston 2, and I have the Bucks at 1. And then for my Western Conference, I have Dallas at 10, the Lakers at 9, Nuggets at 8, Pelicans 7, Minnesota 6, Clippers at 5. I fucked it up again. I'm reading off of this goddamn thing that's fucked up. What did I do wrong?
The Mavericks.
Mavericks at 10, Lakers 9, Nuggets 8, Pelicans 7, Mini 6, Clippers, that's not... I don't know. I gotta write it in my notes. You guys go, and then I'll come back to it, because I'm fucking clearly incapable.
All right. Yeah, so my Eastern Conference standing predictions, I have the Knicks at 10, the Raptors at 9, the Bulls at 8, the Hawks at 7, Cavs at 6, Heat at 5, Celtics at 4, Nets at 3, 76ers at 2, and the Milwaukee Bucks as the number 1 seed. And then my Western Conference standing predictions, I have Trailblazers 10, Pelicans 9, Lakers 8, Mavericks 7, Timberwolves 6, Grizzlies 5, Nuggets 4, Clippers 3, Suns 2, and the defending NBA champion Warriors at number 1.
All right. For the East, I got the Knicks at 10, the Bulls down at 9, Raptors at 8, Cavs at 7, Hawks at 6, 76ers at 5, Miami at 4, Brooklyn at 3, the Bucks 2, and the Celtics at 1.
Yeah. I just think like, we had spoke earlier. I just think the 76ers are going to have I think they're just going to have that more experience than some of those teams like the Cavs and the Hawks, and I think, Cavs and Hawks might lose certain games during the year to, teams that they shouldn't lose to just because of their lack of experience. And
Right.
I think, just with the addition of Montrezl Harrell, PJ Tucker, and then obviously you have James Harden, Embiid, Tobias. I just think the 76ers are going to be, a really tough out for a lot of teams, especially in the East.
I definitely agree. I mean, I think for the Cavs, I have them at 7. Like, I have the Cavs and the Hawks behind the Sixers as well.
Yeah.
For the Cavs, I have them a little lower just because I think, like you said, in the beginning of the year, it's going to take a little bit of time for Donovan Mitchell and Garland and the rest of those guys to kind of get used to each other and playing together as a cohesive unit. So, but I'm a little lower on the Sixers just because I don't know if obviously Harden looks good He obviously he's in shape and he's ready for the NBA season. But I just didn't see enough of him and Embiid playing together to be confident in them being. I mean, I have them at 5. You have them at what, 3?
3, yeah.
Yeah.
No, two.
Oh, you have them all the way at 2.
Yeah,
Okay.
2 seed, yeah.
Yeah. So like I said, I think that's just a little too rich for me at this point. I think that we've seen enough from the Heat to give them that spot over them, and the Nets have an opportunity to be a top 3 team in the East. They just gotta be on the court together and prove it.
Yeah, my bold prediction for James Harden is, he's going to be on an All-NBA team this year. I think he's going to come in ready to play. He has a lot of, people to prove wrong because a lot of people are writing him off like he's done. And I wouldn't say they're putting him in the same category as Russell Westbrook, but
he's much better.
But
than
a lot
that.
of people are saying like, is Harden done? Is the Harden we once saw done? And I think he's going to show people like he's still got a little bit left in the tank this year.
The thing with Westbrook is like people are like, if he were to get bought out or something or traded and bought out, like let's say he went to Indiana in a trade, the Lakers got Buddy Hield and Miles Turner,
and he gets bought out.
Who's
he's not getting picked up
exactly
for at least
because
a month.
He's not good enough to be that guy who's your starting point guard. And then at the same time, it's like if I'm a team who has a young point guard and like there's just where's his place? It's kind of like what happened with Melo.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean,
he has to accept a new role basically.
Westbrook is good enough to take a bad team that's trying to tank and have them on that cusp of being a 12, 11, 10 seed just because of how hard he plays all the time. And then like you said, like he's not good enough or doesn't have enough IQ and doesn't play that high level basketball on the mental side of things to play for the winning teams that are contenders and trying to make a run in the playoffs, because he's just shot selection and turnovers and lack of defense. It's just you can't have it out there on the floor. And it's just like the NBA is kind of top heavy in that aspect of like there's really no place for him like on those like middle tier teams. And especially the point guard position is, I mean, arguably probably the deepest position in basketball.
Yeah,
and,
definitely is.
It's so young as well, so it's like you want these guys to develop.
And another point to it is that even if he weren't to be a starter and he was coming off the bench and accepted that Melo role, even so, I don't trust him so much playing with my second unit just because he's either going to decide to take over and he's going to try and do too much and turn the ball over, and then I got to play my starters even more minutes, which tires them out. Just because now we're falling behind and I need to throw my guys in at an earlier point than I anticipated. Mm-hmm. And on top of it, he's not really an off-the-ball kind of guy. Like you said, his shot selection is poor, and even when his shot selection is good, he doesn't shoot a great percentage from the field at any point on the floor other than him driving to the net, which he decides not to do often enough because that's just the way that the NBA is now. It's all outside shots, it's all three-point shots, and he just hasn't been able to develop a consistent jumper.
Yeah, he didn't keep up with the
trend
progression of the game.
Yeah.
Should I do my West?
Yeah,
I figured out what I was leaving Portland out. What Dallas was.
Oh, yeah.
So I got Portland at 10, Dallas at 9, Lakers 8, Nuggets at 7, the Pelicans at 6, Minnesota 5, Clippers at 4, the Suns at 3, Memphis is the 2 seed, and then I have the Warriors at the 1 seed.
Nice.
Did you give your West?
No, I didn't.
Oh, jeez, I just skipped you.
No, it's cool. We just started talking about
the East.
Yeah. So, for the West, I got the Kings at 10, Mavs at 9, Grizzlies at 8, Phoenix at 7, Pelicans 6, T-Wolves 5, Clippers 4, Nuggets 3, Lakers 2, and also the Warriors at 1.
Yeah.
So you think Portland misses the play-in completely too?
I mean, I think the number 11. I think it's just going to be tough. Like we said, it's just such
Portland's
a deep.
That good.
I don't think they are either. I think Dame wants out. I think it's just tough for him to actually
he's a
say and ask for a
guy,
trade. Yeah, same thing with Bradley Beal. I think Bradley Beal's there more for the bag than he is for loyalty, but it's just tough. And now we just see that Portland, outside of having Dame and McCollum, they're just not a great team,
Yeah. And then the next segment we want to jump into was our duos. So I did, top 5 duos in the East and the West. So my top 5 duos in the East, at 5, I have Garland and Donovan Mitchell. At 4, I have Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. At 3, I have Giannis and Middleton. At 2, I have Embiid and Harden. And at number 1, I have Kevin Durant, and Kyrie Irving. That's my projection for this year. Those guys are going to the NBA Finals.
We'll see.
Solid.
We'll see.
Yeah.
In the West, at 5, I have Ant-Man and Cat. At 4, I have Jokic and Murray. At 3, I have Steph and Clay. 2, I have LeBron and AD. And number 1, I have Kawhi and Paul George.
I respect it.
Okay.
I see immediately where our ones are different. For me, in the East, I had DeMar and Levine. We just haven't seen Mitchell and Garland play.
Yeah.
But I can respect the pick just because they're
yeah.
great players, but I just need to see them play. 4, I got Embiid and Harden. 3, Tatum and Brown. KD and Kyrie at 2, and Giannis and Middleton at 1. In the West, I like the Ant-Man and Cat pick. I picked Zion and Brandon Ingram. I think Zion just looks like he's ready to dominate. 4, I got Jokic and Murray. 3, Kawhi and PG. Just they haven't played enough, and Kawhi's coming off that big injury. 2, Bron and AD. And number 1, Steph and Clay.
Yeah, I just didn't put Steph and Clay 1 because, like, Clay, from what we saw.
I put Steph and Dre.
Oh, really? Yeah. Clay just isn't, like, he wasn't the same Clay last year.
No, not at all.
Showed flashes, but he wasn't that same guy.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still good, but he's not. We didn't see Game 6 Clay last year.
Yeah, but like you said, everybody said the same thing about Harden, and you think he's going to come back and win an All-NBA. So I feel like it works on both sides. I don't think Clay's going to be that good. Like, I'm not projecting him that well, but I still think that he can be 18 points, 13 all defense, help the Warriors lead to the number 1 seed. If he has to play less than 70 games to do it, then that's fine.
Yeah.
But I think he's still going to be one of the top shooting guards in the NBA this year.
All right, so my top 5 duos in the Eastern Conference, I have Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland at 5, Joel Embiid and James Harden at 4, KD and Kyrie at 3, Tatum and Brown at 2, and I have Giannis and Middleton at 1. And then in the West, I have, let me see this. I have Jokic and Murray at 5, Steph and Dre at 4, CP3 and Book at 3, Kawhi and PG at 2, and then I have LeBron and AD at 1. I think healthy, LeBron and AD, like, they're still the best duo. But like we said before, like, I don't know if it was on the last run of this or what, but I think the rest of that Lakers team is just really bad. So, I mean, if those two stay healthy all year and they do what they've been doing,
Yeah, they're
I
talented
could see them as like a 5 seed,
Yeah, they're
4
talented
seed.
enough to carry.
But like outside of that team is just a
They just
disaster.
need to get off to a really hot start. Like, if they can get a lot of wins early in the season where we know that they're both healthy, we know that they're both at 100% and they're playing consistent basketball, like you said, they're one of the top duos in the league. They can overcome whatever other deficiencies they have on their team. So if you can be at least a 3 seed going into the All-Star break, and you let them kind of rest leading into the All-Star break, and coming out, you kind of like ease them back into the motions, I think that they could finish as a top 2 team.
Yeah, no, I agree. And then we can kind of just wrap this up with our, we wanted to do an all-time draft.
Yeah.
Who gets the first pick?